Late at night, a sauce-stained plate in the sink represents a minor, ignored responsibility. While it looks like a domestic trifle, the same psychological mechanisms driving this delay often underpin the massive operational failures seen in global organizations. Waking up to a clean kitchen is objectively better, yet the decision to do it tomorrow feels almost automatic. This delay is a predictable biological response to exhaustion, rather than a lack of willpower or a personal flaw. Inside the brain, two systems are in conflict. The prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for planning and self-control, is being drowned out by the limbic system. The limbic system is the brain's emotional hub. It prioritizes immediate comfort and the avoidance of even minor stress. This is a fundamental emotion regulation failure. By choosing sleep over scrubbing, the brain prioritizes a short-term mood repair over the long-term benefit of a clear workspace. Behavioral economists call this hyperbolic discounting. It describes how the human brain sharply devalues future rewards when compared to immediate relief. On this chart, tomorrow's clean kitchen reward appears insignificant compared to the massive spike of relief found right now. This creates a preference reversal. You intend to be productive tomorrow, but the brain runs the same calculation, shifting the responsibility further down the timeline. This deeply ingrained survival reflex does not stay in the kitchen. It operates with the same intensity in a professional office environment. When we avoid a difficult email or a tedious report, we are repeating the dirty plate reflex. In a corporate setting, these small acts of short-term mood repair quietly sabotage organizational health and long-term goals. In the 1920s, psychologist Bluma Zygarnik observed that waiters remembered unpaid orders much better than completed ones. This led to the discovery of the Zygarnik effect, the tendency for the brain to retain interrupted or uncompleted tasks in working memory much more effectively than those that are finished. When a task remains undone, the brain maintains task-specific tension. That unwashed plate stays active in your subconscious, creating a persistent, low-level cognitive load that drains mental energy, even when you are trying to relax. This tension is a primary driver of workplace burnout. Dr. Rosabeth Moss-Cantor identified a category of labor called office housework, the administrative, low-visibility tasks like taking notes or scheduling that are vital to a company but offer no career advancement. Because these tasks lack intrinsic rewards, employees systematically avoid them. Across a department, this behavior creates an accumulation of dozens of unresolved cognitive loops that never reach closure. These unclosed loops function as a hidden cognitive debt. Over time, the accumulated mental weight of everything left for later slowly suffocates a team's collective bandwidth. The average adult makes 35,000 decisions a day, leading to a state called ego depletion. This is the psychological theory that self-control is a finite, exhaustible resource that depletes as we use it. When an executive's self-control is depleted by the afternoon, they are more likely to delay a difficult conversation. That one avoided task immediately becomes a bottleneck, forcing the rest of the team to stall or work around the missing information. Procrastination is contagious. When timelines slip, different departments begin to fight over remaining resources. We saw this during the merger of Air Canada and Canadian Airlines, where delays in integrating seniority lists created years of us against them intergroup conflict and legal gridlock. As deadlines near, collective stress reaches a breaking point. Teams are forced into speed-accuracy trade-offs where quality is sacrificed simply to clear the backlog. This chart tracks the resulting financial leak. The American Productivity Audit estimates that this culture of drift and preventable firefighting costs businesses $10,396 per employee every single year. Personal procrastination scales exponentially when it enters a system. What begins as a minor habit becomes a measurable drain on capital. Procrastination is a learned coping behavior. Because it is a response to environmental stress, it can be unlearned through environmental changes. Rewiring the human limbic system is impossible. Therefore, the most effective intervention is not to demand more willpower, but to redesign the external environment to reduce the friction of starting a task. Solving organizational delay requires shifting the focus away from individual character. The goal is to identify and fix the specific systemic friction points that make delay the path of least resistance. A primary defense is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, handle it immediately. This prevents the creation of an open cognitive loop and eliminates the mental energy required to track the task later. For larger projects, micro-deadlines bring the future into the present. By creating immediate milestones, we can work with the brain's hyperbolic discounting. When those at the top address minor tasks promptly, they remove the social permission for drift and delay to take root. Final, authoritative tone. Leaders must audit the systems they design and the behaviors they tolerate. If avoidance is easier than action, the problem isn't the people, it's the architecture of the work itself.